Hey, what's up everyone? Alex here from Computer Headquarters, and today I'm going to give you a build overview for my Tri-Charge Stacking Flicker Strike Slayer. And I'm guessing there are going to be a lot of people watching this video that have watched my other Tri-Charge Stacking videos. And there's probably going to be a group of people that are new to my channel and have never watched them before. So I'm going to do my best to explain enough for the new people while not over explaining to bore the usual suspect people, the people that watch my other videos. So I'll do my best, but at the end of the day, you can always skip around on the video if you want to skip certain things, right? Um, so right off the bat at the beginning, I just want to talk about some real basic stuff that will probably be the things that some people might want to skip. So how does this work? Tri-charge stacking. Like what does that mean, for instance? Well, number one is we're playing a Slayer. It's the only way to do tri-charge stacking currently in the game, and that is by using Masterful Form. And I take that back. I apologize. You have to be a duelist because you could also do a Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame, but at any way to make it work, you have to have Masterful Form. So, Masterful Form says that your maximum endurance charges is equal to your maximum frenzy charges, and the next thing you have to make this work is then the Amulet Badge of the Brotherhood that says pretty much the same thing, except with frenzy charges and power charges. So it's like a waterfall effect, trickle down effect, however you guys want to say that. But what it says is you stack as many power charges, maximum power charges as possible, and that will be mirrored to your frenzy charges, which then mirrors to your endurance charges. So if you have 14 power charges, you now have 14. I keep forgetting to say the word maximum. You will have that many maximum endurance charges, that many maximum frenzy charges. They will be equal to each other, and it will be based off of power charge. Now, for anyone that's wondering, is there anything in the game that goes the opposite? Like, does the waterfall ever go the other way? And unfortunately, it does not. It'd be really cool if GGG did at some point make something like that, because how cool would it be to play something like a Juggernaut where you can get a bunch of endurance charges and then waterfall into frenzy? That would be sick, but it's not in the game. I digress. Okay, let's talk about what does this build do really well. Well, it's it's a little bit tricky because typically I'm playing this build with Frenzy of Onslaught, but I've tweaked it for Flicker Strike, and the Frenzy of Onslaught version was 100% Ubers, Ubers, Ubers. Um, this build is a little bit different. It's still tanky. It's a little bit less tanky, but it's way more clear, of course, right? Because we're using Flicker Strike, so it's faster and it's more clear and it's more hectic and chaotic. And I think a lot of people might argue it's more fun. And I think it's most certainly more exciting. So that's kind of things about the build. Now, can you do hard content with this? Sure, you can do pretty much every Uber in the game. Um, I would say doing Uber Maven is a little bit difficult because the chaoticness of the way you're bouncing back and forth, you end up hitting beams and things like that that you don't want to hit. Um, but you could still do it. You could, and you could even do Frenzy of Onslaught like on a 4 link as part of the build, and you could have it so that when you don't want to be running into things that you don't have to. But I digress again. Um, Things like a very difficult Volva map, I'm going to be doing some in this showcase, and um, that's a thing you can do in this build. And some other Uber bosses like Uber Cortex or Uber Elder or Uber Cirrus, not a problem. And I'll do some of those as well. So yeah, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. I just wanted to mention kind of like the past and future of tri-charge stacking in my content. So I've had a lot of different versions of the tri-charge stacker, and I had not only did I do a variety of different versions during Settlers League 3.25, I also did I think 3 different versions as well during Free Show when we had the alternate ascendancies. And so I feel like I'm pretty experienced with the charge stacking stuff, especially tri-charge stacking. I've done some dual charge stackers as well. And this is my first time playing Flicker Strike, and I would say that it's gone really well. I've never even played Flicker Strike in general. This is my first Flicker Strike in the first place, and thankfully I had my friend David, who I talk about in like every video, as a reference for some advice on it because he's played a lot. He's played some Flicker Strike, and he gave me some good advice on just getting it going. Okay, so also a few other quick things to mention. There were some pretty serious nerfs this league that were things that we're using in our build and that were commonly associated with some versions of Flicker Strike. So one, Ephemeral Edge. So we're using an Ephemeral Edge sword, and it got nerfed quite a bit this league. And I know there's a bunch of people with their pitchforks out still thinking it needs to get nerfed more. I personally don't think it needed to get nerfed. I also didn't care that much that it got nerfed. The values actually went down quite a bit, which has been great for me. Rallycash boots got nerfed big time. It used to have count as having maximum number of all 3 types of charges, and now it's only 1. So there's 3 different versions of the boots, and you have to pick which one you're going to get maximum power charges, or you're going to get maximum power charges. You're going to get endurance. You're going to get frenzy. You have to pick that as part of your build, and then you have to build around that now, which is a little bit more difficult, but it's still amazing. So I just wanted to bring those things up. I know that a lot of people, if you look at how many people are playing Flicker and playing Flicker Slayer, and playing Frenzy of Onslaught, the numbers are just way down. I think when I did my Tri-Charge Frenzy of Onslaught build, I was looking at POE Ninja, my bad, and it was like 20 people playing. It's crazy. Okay, so yeah, and I had looked at Slayers. There were only 4 Slayers. I don't know if that's up now. This was my data's from a little bit ago, but okay. Anyway, I think we talked about a lot of things. Now I want to talk about budget. The budget for this build. I hate to say this, and people are gonna get mad. It's kind of an I don't know. I know how much I spent, or I know a general estimation about how much my gear is worth, but the thing is, I'm just using my gear I already had. I'm sure there's a way to easily do this build with a much tighter budget. Okay, in fact, I'll even if you guys really want me to talk about that, I can make a whole other video. If like people are like, I really want to play this, please let me know the budget version. But I would just right off the bat say that you probably won't be able to find a ring like this one. So you might want to just get one that says, chance that you would gain maximum frenzy charges to get the maximum without the power charge. You can get those for like 1 div or less. You maybe just get that, and then maybe you get a power charge ring on the other side, instead of having 2 power charges. So anyway, hope that makes sense. You can do it without Mage Blood if you don't have the budget. But anyway, I can go into that more if you guys need me to. But I would say my gear's probably worth somewhere between 2 and 3 mirrors. Just wasn't like I just fell into it all of a sudden. This was literally working for months, chipping away, right? So, could you do this as a league start build? I don't know. I know you can do the Frenzy of Onslaught version pretty early in the league. I would think you could do the Flicker Strike version as well. I just don't know yet. Okay, let's see. What else did I want to get into before we do some other stuff? I think I have like a little notes thing on the side I'm looking at. Oh, I said past and future versions. So I have a little list of 5 different videos I want to make related to tri-charge stacking so this is gonna be the first one, and that's in addition to my these are like alternate tri-charge stacking, if you want to call it that, right? So here's Flicker. I'm gonna do a really sick discharge build. I think it's gonna be sick. I'm anticipating the sickness of this build. There was a video put out by Surgeon General last week, like 3 days ago, about how to take advantage of some things in the game to stack charges super quick and to discharge huge nuclear explosions. And his build was a life version, and his gear was not as good as my gear. So I'm not trying to brag, but I already have this gear. I think I can take his tech and throw it into my gear with a couple twists of things I need to get, and I think it's going to be sick. So I will do my best to get that video out. There's like one thing kind of holding me back that costs a lot of money. So we'll see if I can get that in the next couple days, but I'm going to try to get that video out like within the next week. Leap Slam version. I'm going to try to make a Leap Slam version. I'm going to try to make a Spectre version, and I'm going to try to do a League Start. I've been talking about making a League Start video for Frenzy of Onslaught, and I'm not in a hurry to make that because I feel like I don't have to until it's like getting closer to 3.27. But I'll try to do all these videos within the next like week or two. Okay, let's talk about what's going on in my inventory here and what we're going to be showcasing. So here's my plan for this video. Number one is we're going to talk about what did I have to change from Frenzy of Onslaught to make Flicker work. It's really quick to explain that. Number two, we're going to talk about these rings. And then number three, we're going to talk about these maps and other stuff we're going to do. So the changes I did, if you watched any of my Tri-Charge Frenzy of Onslaught videos, it was pretty much all this gear, except when I talked to my buddy David, he said, if you could get your hands on a power charge ring that also has chance that if you would gain a frenzy charge, you instead gain max, that would really help make it work for you. And I didn't have that ring, and there were literally none for sale. So I had to go make one. And I don't remember how many sets of precursor rings to set up for myself, but I bought, 20, I think it was. And I hit 2 on the first 20 rings, which I didn't even think I'd get 1. I thought it was a pipe dream. So that was really lucky. Now, since that happened, I sold the other ring for 750 div. And that I mentioned that Surgeon General guy had a video come out. Well, he was wearing one of those rings in the video, and there were none for sale. So I had mine up for sale at like 850 div, which I think I do think I could have got a mirror for it, but a guy offered me, it was 700. Guy offered me 700, and I said sure, because I am saving up for another project. So took the money. What we're going to do right now is we're going to turn all these in just for fun during the video, and we'll see if I get another one. I probably won't. It's pretty hard to get one. And then these are some Valdo's maps: Crown of the Tyrant, Foil Sublime Vision, and Void Forge. I'm going to do these. I want to do some Ubers in this stuff, maybe some T17s, whatever. I don't even know all the things I'm going to throw in because I'm going to pause this video in a minute when I'm done talking, and then I'm just going to talk about all the gear. I'm going to talk about all the tree and all that stuff while you're watching me play. So let's start though with turning these rings in. Oh god. Oh yeah. Also, I'm superstitious. I've had really good luck making these rings this league. So I know that this is not the smartest way to do this by doing one at a time, but I'm superstitious. So you can call me stupid for that. I don't care, but it's my money. Okay, here we go. I'm talking and getting nervous that I'm going to mess this up. But I don't think you can mess it up. Well, you can. You can, like if you did that right there, right? Oh, one more. Okay, this is 12. All right, so we got 12. We're going to ID them, and then we're going to go through them one at a time. All right, we've got attack speed, cast speed, frenzy on kill, evasion. That's not that great. We've got suppress, frenzy charge duration, and suppress, so double suppress. I don't know if that's good. It might be. Oh, wait, is that right? Yeah, double suppress. Oh, one is power charge, one's frenzy charge. Additional curse, frenzy charge on kill, and chance. This is actually, I think, because like I mentioned that guy Surgeon General's video, people want this chance where you get max frenzy charge. This might actually be very valuable. I mean, because a lot of people want an additional curse anyway, and they want to get frenzy charges on kill. So this might be 10 div. That's my guess. Ooh, +1 maximum frenzy charges. Okay, cast speed, attack and cast speed, and then chance. Oh, this is going to be really good. I don't know what this is worth, but I'm thinking 150 to 300 divine. All right, what do we get here? We got crit strike, multi, accuracy, and frenzy charge duration. I think this is decent, probably like a 5 diver. We got physical damage reduction per power charge. That's always nice. That's very valuable. Evasion and flash charge. Huh. I don't think this is that great. Maybe like a 1 div ring. We've got Arcane Surge, nope. Movement Speed, nope. Regen, nope. Okay, that's a bad one. It's probably like less than 1 div. Oh, here we go, guys. Power Charge, Frenzy Charge on kill, Movement Speed. Okay, this is good. Of course, it's like 150 or 200 div minimum. So we're way up now. Oh my god, guys, another charge. Frenzy Charge, Accuracy Rating, and Crit Strike Multi. This is really good. We're killing it here. We got a Power Charge on crit. We got double evasion. I think this is not really worth anything. And then we got lightning damage as extra chaos. We got Frenzy Charge on kill and added cool damage. This is probably okay. Anything that has damage is like decent, like maybe a 2-diver. And then we've got Power Charge duration, movement speed, and frenzy duration. Okay, so we came out huge with 3 different charges out of 12. That's like crazy, like insanely lucky. Okay, like don't think that you could replicate that. Please don't go spend all your money trying to think you're gonna get that many good rings. But I needed to. I'm trying to make money because I'm trying to get something really expensive. So that's why I bought these rings and I did them here on the stream because I thought people might like. I think it's fun to watch this kind of stuff. So I hope this didn't invade the video too much for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So let's do some stuff. Let's watch me play the guy, right? All right. First up on the showcase, we have Adziri. And if you didn't already guess this, it's because I'm going to do a feared for you guys. So we're going to run basically all the feared, starting with Uber Adziri. And as you can see, it's a joke. I kill her faster than any build I've ever been on. And Flicker Strike automatically locks onto the correct target when she does her split into 4 things, like this part. I think it's right here. Watch this. It just, boom, auto locks on, 1-shot kill. I don't remember, playing a build that's that strong for Adziri for some reason. It just seemed too easy. I beat her really easy on my Frenzy of Onslaught character as well, but it just felt even easier. Okay, this is the perfect Chayula. I think that's what you call it, like the flawless. I apologize, flawless. And as you can see, what would be beautiful is if the whole map was already unveiled. The breach had already just warped all the way to the end, and you could just ride this thing like a train. I like to think of Flicker Strike as a train sometimes, where it's a train that has no tracks and it's just crashing all over the place. But when you get the right scenario, it's like the mobs become the tracks and you can go really fast and really far, which is pretty cool. And I already mentioned this, but this is my first time really playing Flicker, so I didn't really know what to expect other than people say you either love it or you hate it. And I'm that weird guy that's in the middle, where I don't think it's the best thing ever, and I don't dislike it either, and I would consider playing it again, but I'm not like, oh, I'm league starting Flicker 3.27. But I would try it again. So, okay, while we're watching me blast through this too easily, I want to mention that if you look at the top of my charges right now, you can see that I'm bouncing off between, I think the maximum being 14 charges and the minimum being 9 instead of 0 or 1. And the reason for that is because some of these clips I filmed last night were before I took out my Grand Spectrum jewels. So I'm wearing 3 plus 1 to maximum frenzy charges per Grand Spectrum. Or sorry, I said maximum, I meant minimum. And when you have 3 of those, then it becomes 3 each. So 9 total is your minimum. And that is insanely strong for Frenzy of Onslaught. But I was told that you don't really need that for doing a Flicker Strike build, because you want to have that variance of charges to build them up and to use them, to have them to be able to, your pool of consumption frenzy charges is bigger, and you want them to be able to be consumed. And I don't know if that's correct, because I'm a noob to Flicker, so maybe some Flicker experts will also sound off in some comments and be like, hey, if you tweak some things, like, this is in no shape or form some like pro build guide. This is some dude that has a regular job and is not a streamer just making a video for fun, right? So yeah, if you're a flicker expert and you're like, hey, you know, try doing this, try change this on your tree, change this gear, whatever. I'm open to trying some other things too. But yeah, Grand Spectrums. I play tonight with them out. In some of the clips you'll see later, I don't have the Grand Spectrums in, and I don't know if it's worse, because one of the things that's nice about having the minimum 9 is that you have all that attack speed. So maybe you're building them faster and getting into the fights, hitting faster, and you know, because 9 frenzy charges is a lot for attack speed, and you're moving a little bit faster, and so yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence, but what I did is I took a Flesh&Flame for, I think it's called High Impact. I'll put it in the screen here in the video, but I did that just to get a little bit more tankiness, because I'm losing some tankiness by not having the Precursor's emblem that I usually wear. And then the other thing I did was I took out my, let's see, I had 3 jewels, so 3 Grand Spectrums. I also put in a stormshroud because I was able to be chilled about 20% chill or 30% chill previously on my Frenzy of Onslaught build. And what I did is I did the stormshroud, and then I did a flask that was a ignite immunity. I switched that to unaffected by shock, so I would be unaffected by all ailments. So I just figured that was a smart way to do it. I mean, I think alternatively, I could have done something like doing 3 crit multi-gems to get a bunch more damage, but I didn't feel like damage is a problem. We're at a lot of damage already, which I'm going to talk about when I start going through POE numbers with you guys in a second here, but I'm probably going to do... I wanted to let you guys watch this Feared fight right here because I think it's kind of impressive. I was just checking my Merc to make sure he was stat up right, and then we'll talk about like gear and tree and stuff and damage. So okay, let's watch this. This is an 87% feared, by the way. Yeah. It's that easy. Alright, so let's move on and do some other stuff. Let's do some other Ubers and Valdos and talk about the gear, the tree, and some damage numbers and stuff like that. Alright, don't get too mad, but I accidentally did Cortex out of order here. So obviously Cortex is part of the feared, but the way this timeline ended up working out in this video, it's happening right now. And one thing that is really awesome to watch on Cortex is that train track thing I talked about earlier. You get some pretty nice train tracks with monsters just lined up to really zip through the whole map. Alright, but at this point in the video, I want to talk about the gear. So let's start with our weapon. We're using an Ephemeral Edge. I've already said that a couple times. And the one I have specifically is corrupted with double corrupted implicits. So it's double corrupted with 7% increased attack speed and fortify on hit. It also has the harvest enchant, which you need to do before corruption happens. Mine also happens to have double implicits with Crusader and Hunter, which is exactly what I needed because, as I'm going to talk about later, my Bound by Destiny has Hunter, Warlord, and Crusader. So this is one of the places I get my Hunter, and everything has to have Crusader. Okay, moving on to my Helm. I crafted this helm myself by going to the double corrupt room. It cost me, I don't know, I'm guessing I was probably in 500 div or something like that on how much I spent on crafting one of these helmets, but I think I ended up selling all the leftovers and stuff for probably more than the 500 div, so it worked out. I have a whole video dedicated to that will be in the description if you want to figure that out, if you want to know how I did it. My shield is a Malachi's Loop. It's the same idea. It's double influenced with Warlord, Crusader, and then I got lucky that I found one that had a chance to block on it because I don't need the spell damage. I have a Badge of the Brotherhood with double Anoint and double Sorry, I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. Double Anoint, double Influence. It's Warlord Crusader, and a lot of people have said, "How did you get 2 Anoints on a Badge of the Brotherhood?" Well, you have to start with a base. I have a whole video about it. Another video that'll be in the description, but you have to chance it, and it's very expensive to try to do a Badge of the Brotherhood. So my chest is a Twilight Regalia with just a bunch of ES and the reduced extra damage from critical strikes per endurance charge. My ring, we've already talked about it, but you know, power charge and frenzy charge get max chance. Calandra's Touch, Relicash boots with power charges. You could do a frenzy charge with. There's probably a way you could do frenzy boots instead, but I wouldn't recommend it because of our elegant hubris we'll talk about later. A regular mage blood, which I wish was dual influence, but they're like at least three at the minimum mirrors. They haven't really gone down. So, and then my gloves, I also have a video because people were asking for advice on how to make the gloves, and because we have to get influence gloves, we lose a lot of damage in ES because we don't get the Eldritch Implicits, but the gloves have non-vol strike skills, target 2 additional nearby enemies from Hunter, so they're Crusader Hunter gloves. And then it also has attack speed and attack while focused, and just as much ES as I can get. We're using a prismatic tincture some of the time, but we're also using an Aureus N for just big explosions. And we're using a silver flask, a ruby flask, topaz flask, and sapphire flask, of course. Alright, let's talk about jewels. While Cirrus chats with Xana. It's good timing. Okay, so we have 2 large cluster jewels, and they're both giving us a bunch of attack speed, ES, and int. I think, wait, is that right? Are they both doing all those things? Okay, sorry, one of them has +4 all Ellie, but both of them have the 35% increased effect in damage while holding a shield. Jewels, we are using as I mentioned, Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flesh with impact in some situations, or we could be using 3-rand spectrums. That's kind of still up in the air. I'm totally not sure yet. So, but we do have a split personality that's giving us accuracy and energy shield. We were a little bit starved for accuracy because normally we get more in our gloves that we can't get because of the Crusader Hunter influence thing. We're using a Watcher's Eye that's triple discipline. We are using a Bound by Destiny, which is insanely good for this build. We're getting endurance charges like Enduring Composure by having 4 Warlord items. We're getting some ES regen from 2 Hunter, which it's like, I don't really notice it too much, but it's nice to have. And then, of course, we're getting another power charge, which is the biggest thing by having 6 Crusader items, which, you know, it's kind of crazy to do it, but it's worth it. Sublime Vision with +1 power charge and discipline. And as I mentioned, stormshroud depending on which version, and then an impossible escape taking us over to imbalanced guard. And finally, the big boy is the elegant hubris 57860. That is giving us so much power, it's insane. We're getting 3 different nodes that give us 4% increased energy shield per power charge. We have 14 power charges all the time because of our Relicash boots. We also have a variety of nodes that say increased damage per power charge or frenzy charge, so we're getting a ton of damage percent. So that's all of our jewels. That is all of our cluster jewels and our gear. And one of the things that I just want to also touch on is we are taking a rune graft of the fortress, and it's worth it. They're actually pretty cheap, so you should grab them. We have some tattoos. We're doing things like mark effect for extra damage, some accuracy just to get the accuracy cap, and then as much energy shield as possible with while still being able to equip our body armor. Okay, skill gems. I don't really want to get into skill gems too much because you can just see that on the POB, but I did experiment with changing my 6-link from what I was getting on my Frenzy of Onslaught, and actually ended up being basically the same 6-link, so I just kept it. Alright, let's see, we're about to kill this T-17. Ziggurat Katarina boss, and we are going to talk about damage. So I'm pulling up my POE while we're watching this, and all right, with like all of the things in a good spot, like not in a good spot, but just like the stars aligned, meaning like POB damage, we're somewhere around 400 million damage, so that's pretty good. It's a lot less than my Frenzy of Onslaught build, but it's just a different build. You know, it's a different build style, and this is also with the Merc in mind, and I'm using the endurance charge Merc, not Endure and Cry, but Endure. Sorry, the Endure Merc, and he's wearing Kingmaker, so I'm getting Culling Strike and Crit Multi from him, as well as Perkwol's Toe, giving me damage. Perkwol's Toe gives me like 100 million damage, so it's a pretty big deal. But sometimes the Merc dies, so I wear Defiance of Destiny instead, depending on what kind of content it is. So there's a map we're going to do here where he does die. But that's with like stage 1 of Frost Shield and stage 1 of Sigil of Power, which, I mean, they kind of don't really work very well for this build, so I probably should just have them at 0. It's not a big deal either way. That's at 30 rage, and it's at using repeat mode average. Okay, I learned my lesson not to click that final button. I don't know if I clicked it last time or not, but one thing I'm not sure about, I never checked how much I'm shocking for. I put 30, but it might be like 50. So if it's 50, I'm actually doing closer to 500 damage. But yeah, pretty similar overall. We're pretty tanky, and we have 90 res. Our max hit is about 350. I'm not using Mortal Call. I'm not using. I mean, we're tanky, but we're not tanky like Frenzy of Onslaught. Tanky because we're not just standing still. Okay, I think I went through. I don't think I want to talk about the damage in the POV too much because you guys can just look at it. I want to talk about this gameplay now, on the Valda's maps and just other stuff in general, because I really want to make sure I have enough time to put my full opinion about this to you guys. So, what do I think of Flicker Strike? Well, I already told you I think it's pretty good, right? I said that. And I said there's things that you could do with it, and I said it's like riding a train. There's certain situations where it just doesn't work so well, and single target is sometimes a challenge. So like when you're going through a map like this, and then you get to like the Feared, you just killed a bunch of mobs, you're doing great on your frenzy charges, right? Like you don't have to worry about your frenzy charges, so you're going to be flickering pretty well. But there were other situations, like I did an Uber Maven, which I didn't even, I think I recorded it. I can't remember if I recorded it, but I'm not putting it in the video because I failed it. It was actually the first time I failed an Uber Maven in a long time. It's because I kept zipping and hitting the beams that she puts up, you know, that like kill your ES regen. And it was just very difficult to do anything right, and I also couldn't tank the memory game like I normally do. So it just was, there's no reason to even play Flicker Strike for that fight. You just switch to Frenzy of Onslaught. And so that's kind of the theme that I'm going to get into here, is like, if you're going to play this build in particular, please, please, please don't rely only on Flicker Strike. Have a Frenzy of Onslaught in your bag and be ready to switch them out, because it'll just make your life so much better. Do stuff like what I'm doing right here on the screen, where you're just zipping around doing a map. Flicker Strike, perfect. You're having fun, you're zipping around, it's great. And then, like, a perfect example maybe is like do a Uber Cortex. Zip the whole way to Uber Cortex, get to the boss, switch to Frenzy of Onslaught. Although I have to admit, you guys saw me do Uber Cortex, it was a joke. Killed him so fast, it kind of didn't matter. There were some other fights though that didn't go so smooth, like Uber Eater, for instance. You know, I didn't have any charges, so I couldn't just like one-shot right off of that like I could on my Frenzy of Onslaught. Cirrus, same thing. Uber Cirrus, problematic. I mean, you guys saw that. I just had no charges. I'm just standing there doing nothing, waiting to try. I don't even know what, I actually didn't know what to do. Should I leap slam on him and see if I can like build up some charges? I wasn't sure, but I wasn't dying either, so that's okay. But such a better experience using Frenzy of Onslaught for that fight against Uber Cirrus. I think the biggest thing I want to tell you guys is if a lot bits and pieces of this, like, wow, I want to play that, and you haven't watched my Frenzy of Onslaught videos, do this and just do both. Like, you'll thank me later. Just have both tools in your tool bag. Alright, so next thing I want to mention is this particular map was really expensive. Unidentified Sublime Visions are selling for about 160 div, and I bought it for 125. So there is a chance of failure. It was 3 to 4 tormented and I think 100% delirious, if I remember correctly from what I saw earlier. So, and I think it had like additional map modifiers or something like that. You never know what you're gonna get, especially 3 to 4 tormented. Like a rare could be a demon, and you could end up failing because just one rare ruins your night. It could have gone bad. It didn't, as you'll see. Spoiler alert. But the big thing is that a map like this, where you're making really big money, is very doable, right? So this is a Valdo's mapper, if you want it to be. And depending on the Valdo's map, you might want to play Flicker Strike. Depending on it, maybe you're going to want to play Frenzy of Onslaught. Okay, another thing I haven't really talked about yet is Mercs. So all I really need to say is I didn't change my Mercs from my other builds. So I have a whole video that's like the 3 Mercateers or something like that. It's a joke. I'm going to just copy and paste a bunch of the links of the videos I've made that are related to this into the description. So if you're like, what Merc is, what Merc should I use? Well, sometimes you want to have all 3 Mercs ready to go and configured certain ways for different content, and I have a whole video for that too. We're getting toward the end of this map, and I'm running out of things to talk about, to be honest with you. Alright, we won. We got the grand prize here. Put it up for sale. Put the Crown of Tyrant up for sale, which I put it up for sale for 21 div, but I just repriced it at 19 because that's what they're going for. And then the Sublime Vision sold pretty quick. When that guy first put up 19, I'm like, no. Thankfully, he put up the rest. Alright, so now we got our last map. This one's the hardest by quite a bit. So this is 3 to 4 Tormented, and it's Feared, and it's additional projectiles and stuff, so shotgunning is a real problem with someone like Shaper, an Elder. I think this map is probably like the best lesson for this build of the whole video. So here's the Feared, and here I am. I thought I was going to die right there, but I didn't, not until there. Okay, that's where I die. And my Merc died is the big problem. So you can see, I don't even know if I realized he was dead quite yet in this part of the video. But I should have put Defiance of Destiny on him before I did this fight. It's worth it to lose the perk Bull's toe damage to just have him not die. So here they are again. And I thought I was doing well until I wasn't, right? It's like, oh, I'm almost dead again. And they're chasing me, and I feel like I wasn't regenning normally. I don't really know why. I have a lot of regen on this character. And then my damage is... This is where I noticed, like, why are these guys not dying? Well, the Merc's dead. So my damage is like halved or something like that, probably. And I also wasn't using Prismatic Tincture. I was using the Oriascend Flask. It's like I wasn't taking this fight seriously enough, you know? And this is where I'm like, oh, this is not going well. This is not going well. What's going on here, right? So I'm not going to be able to use my Merc for the rest of the fight. But I feel like maybe I can finish it. And then I die here. And this is, I believe, where I make my big decision. I go, all right, let's go back to the stash. And let's dig out the Frenzy of Onslaught gear. So I put the flask back. I get the ring out. I get the skill gems. I get the grand spectrums. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because I think I paid 5 div for the map, and Void Forges typically sell between like 10 and 20 depending on the rolls and stuff. I just and I died so fast there, which is weird. I just didn't feel confident about finishing it with with Flicker Strike, and I felt like, oh, no big deal, I'll just throw Frenzy of Onslaught in, and I'll finish the map. As you saw, I died pretty quick, so I'm like, okay, let's get the Tincture. I need a little bit more damage because my Merc's dead. And the weird thing about that last fight where I died right away is on Frenzy of Onslaught, I felt like I just was attacking slow. It didn't look right. I don't know why. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I need to like build some endurance charges up because you do need to build them up on this character. So that's why I left for a second there. So now I have 14 endurance charges, and I felt like I was ready to fight. Now you can see things are going a lot better. I'm tanking a bunch of stuff. Double flame blast there. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to lose the map. I think I only have 2 portals left now. So might as well play it safe and get the prize, right? If I could talk, another double flame blast. Lots of lightning strikes there. I think that red circle right there, I forgot what that's called. Lightning strike or storm burst or something like that. I forgot what it's called. So now I switch back to Flicker because now that Zeri was dead and everyone was dead except Shaper. So I felt like it was safe to now switch back to Flicker, clear the map, and then deal with Shaper at the end. So right here, I'm just looking to see if there's any other rares that I missed, because it says 50 monsters left still. So other than Shaper, is there anything I need to kill? Shaper's over here somewhere. Here he is. And yeah, despite having no Merc and this guy having 4 ghosts on him, I feel like I actually did pretty well. Alright, I just want to apologize. I feel like the end of the video maybe was a little bit... I know my voice got boring. That's what I'm trying to say. I just got It's really late. It's like 1:30 a.m. I'm super tired. I've been outside all day. It's Sunday. And anyway, I just want to thank whoever watches the whole video. Love to hear your comments about what you think about this build, and I hope you guys stay tuned for some of these other tri-charge stacker, different versions of tri-charge stackers that I'm going to do within the next couple weeks. So yeah, just thank you again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.